Hello, Facebook Live. We'll wait for some people to enter on here before we get started on this episode of Coach Taylor Radio. It's gonna be good. Facebook Live. I wasn't planning on doing this as a Facebook Live because this 50th episode, I just think it's gonna be a little bit different. But I'll keep on the live stream for now as we go through and answer some questions and do this. So, podcast, Facebook Live. Here we go. Hello and welcome to episode 50 of Coach Taylor Radio. 50 episodes. I guess that's a lot. You know, they're probably now averaging over an hour. That's like 50 hours of listening to me ramble on about all sorts of random shit. So look, when I was planning on doing what I was wanting to do for the 50th episode, I wanted to make it a little bit different, do it a little bit different than the other podcasts, because every week we go through odds and ends and bits and pieces of health and fitness advice, and I answer questions. I'm not going to do that today. We're going to do two things today, and they're going to require you to think a little bit, to put a little bit of thought into your life, because I don't know if people do that enough anymore. And I think we all go through life just letting life happen to us, right? And especially in our culture today of memes and spiritual journey quests and listening to like Robin Sharma and Tony Robbins and all these people, we pay a lot of it lip service. We don't actually do it. And I talk about this with my wife all the time when we talk about things we see in our industry and going on. And like, people are always posting memes, right? But no one ever actually does the things in those memes. And I don't know how to break that cycle or to make that work better. And if I could figure that out, I'd probably be an extraordinarily rich human being. And there's entire fields of research and entire occupations dedicated to that, and a lot of it's beyond my scope. So what we're going to do today is two things. First, we're going to go through my Coach Taylor's advice for everything you need for a healthy life. That will be my episode 50 gift to all of you. That'll be part one. Part two, we're going to talk about, I call this section planning your life. Don't get turned off and don't get bored or think it's not going to be worth listening to, because it's probably the most important thing that I can impart on people, and it's something that I've done, I think, since I was a little kid. So the live stream's on. The best pack exercise for a 6-pack. No alcohol, all fresh, real food. Best exercise for a 6-pack. I think it's something I've done since I was a little kid. I just see life differently, and it drives my wife crazy, and a lot of people around me crazy. I just have this weird logical way of looking at everything, and it probably has caused me a lot of shit over the years and stuff to deal with. But it's just the way I see things, and I can't change that. So for the podcast people, I will have this up on YouTube and Facebook live stream right now if you want to watch the video. This second part might be something you're going to listen to a couple of times. Also, if you just listen to the podcast, my beard's getting pretty awesome, but it's in a really awkward phase, so don't judge. Don't judge the awkward beard as I grow this fucker out, right? Alright, so we're going to head into it. First, my sponsor, ttonline.ca, my online training platform. But listen, I don't know we're going to have some big changes coming with the online platform because we really love it. More and more people are joining up recently, which is awesome. The community is fantastic. So come train with me and my fantastical team. We're really fun. Well, that's not true. We're not always fun. Sometimes it hurts and we're really mean, but we don't care. Our only goal is to make your life happy, healthy, and awesome. So ttonline.ca is the online training platform. Check it out, $10 to try it for a week. And there are going to be a lot of awesome changes coming to it over the next probably 4 to 8 weeks. It's the internet stuff, and redoing shit just fucking takes time. So, without further ado, let us jump into this 50th episode of Coach Taylor Radio and see what we can do. Morning, Jen. You get to listen live. That's true. And you can watch it on YouTube afterwards, and it'll be permanently on this record, plus the podcast. It's going to be awesome. All right, let us go into section 1 of 2 in today's podcast. All right, so for section 1 of my 50th episode of the podcast, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to go through everything that I know, that I believe, that I've seen, that I've coached, that I've researched, that I have talked to innumerable experts on, that I presented on, spoken about before, written about, everything in my entire career. Everything is going to be right here in this. If you just take this section and do everything in here for the rest of your life, you're going to be happy and healthy. No, Melissa, I do normally do these on Mondays. Today I didn't. This week it was Easter weekend that just went by, so I didn't do it on Monday. I'm doing it today instead. So that's what this section is, just the top advice. And we're just going to go through them, right? And then we're going to talk, this is the top fitness advice. And this is something I want to talk, let's talk about the definition of fitness, right? Because today in our culture, fitness has somehow become synonymous with what you look like, right? And like I hear this shit all the time, right? Oh, you don't even need to work out, like, look at you. Like that has anything to do with it, right? There are a lot of people who don't have a lot of body fat who fucking die from preventable diseases, have heart attacks, right? I'm not saying all heart attacks are preventable. God, you gotta be so careful what you say on the internet and in permanent videos these days. But fitness has somehow become synonymous with that. But what is fitness, right? So when you look up the definition of it, well, they've started to change it. The true definition of biology of fitness is an organism's ability to survive and reproduce in a particular environment, right? So essentially, fitness is just basically your ability to survive in whatever environment that you're in. That's it. Just live. Procure food. Move. Done. Right? The next definition when we go through these is the quality of being suitable to fulfill a particular role or task, right? And that's really important, right? The quality of being suitable to fulfill a particular role or task. When we look at what fitness has become as a word, it's become what's the greatest thing you can accomplish? How much can you lift? What can you move? What crazy thing can you do on some new piece of equipment? Somehow that is being fit. But we never look at, well, what is the task you're trying to be fit for? Why are you trying to deadlift 500 pounds or squat 300 pounds? Is that the task that you need to accomplish for your life? I would argue for 99.9% of people know how much you can squat and deadlift and how far you can push those limits will not lead to a better ability to fulfill a particular role or task, because our role and task is getting up out of bed, working, walking places, grocery shopping, hanging out with our friends, going on vacation, maybe taking a walk through the woods. These are our tasks. These are the roles that we play. So fitness should just be about being suitable to fulfill those tasks. That's what fitness is. Right? And then the third definition that always pops up on here, the condition of being physically fit and healthy. And I think that's important too. I don't know if you guys follow or listen to, I listen to a lot of stuff online. And so there's a guy called the Glute Guy, Brett Contreras. And there's another guy who runs Functional Patterns, Aguilar, I think is how you pronounce his last name. I'm not 100% sure. I'm terrible with these types of things. Neither of them will ever listen to this podcast or watch this video, so it doesn't really matter. They just had an interesting morning from St. Lucia. Hi, Lorraine. Have fun in St. Lucia. It's rainy and cold here. These guys just had like a little debate the other day, as they've been battling online for a long time about their functional patterns versus this glute stuff and everything like that. And what struck me when I watched the whole thing was just how much they weren't really focused on real life. Like, they just weren't really focused on real life. Right? So Brett, it's all about glute. He's a PhD in glute research. Like, that's what he knows. And deadlifts and squats. And, like, over and over and over again. He just kept talking about how they do heavy deadlifts and squats, but they have to stop doing them because all their clients got hurt. So no, they don't do them with clients. They just do it themselves, but they're always injured. I'm like, if you're constantly injured from doing something, maybe it's not good for you, right? And the functional patterns people actually do, from Florida. God, why are all you people in hot, fun places? God damn it. The functional patterns people are awesome and they're doing amazing work, but they don't know why. They don't know why what they're doing is doing really awesome stuff. And I wish that they would take the time to put that together, because what they're doing is fantastic. They just need to understand why it's working. But why I talk about that is they just represent a lot of the fitness world, especially on the science side, on this deadlifts and squats and all of that kind of thing. No one's really thinking, why am I doing this? What do I want to accomplish? We're stuck in this mindset in the world of health and fitness that the more we lift, the better. Period. Right? And we should try to get everyone to do that, but we've never thought why. Why do we need to do that? So that's what we need to talk about, and that's what this section is going to... Thank you, Julie, from Australia. Look, Australia, Florida, St. Lucia, and everyone else up here in Canada is cold as balls. No one stops to think about why we're doing what we're doing. So this section, we're going to go through my top advice for a healthy life. I need to go through all of this stuff. Oh, I love San Diego. San Diego's fantastic. We need to go through all of this stuff and talk about what this fitness is to truly understand what it is I'm trying to say about this piece of advice I'm trying to give. I'm not trying to give you advice on how to win a powerlifting competition. I'm not trying to give you advice on how to get to the Olympics. I'm not trying to give you advice on how to make an elite varsity sports team or anything like that. What I'm trying to do is tell you, do these things most of the time for most of your life, and when you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, and I've just watched some videos of people in their hundreds, centurions, you'll be pretty healthy, right? Maybe not perfect. Maybe you'll still get cancer. Maybe you'll get Alzheimer's. I don't know. But all you can do is focus on these little things all the time to give yourself the best chance of having that healthy life. And when you do all of these things, the life you experience while you're going through this process of life will become better, will be better, will feel better, will be healthier. And I think we need to focus on that. And it doesn't mean you can't do an OCR race, the competition races, or try for the Olympics, or do all this crazy stuff. Do that too. But don't just do that. Don't just focus on that. And recognize you don't need to do that to be really healthy. All right? Yeah, the beard's getting better. Thanks, Amy. Someone likes my beard. Nice. So let's do this. Let's go through my top advice. So this is all the things that you need to do. They're not in order of importance. I feel each one of these things is important. And you can watch the video later if you want. Maybe I'll write this out in a blog or something like that too, if I get up to it. Number one, first thing everyone needs to be doing from the time you are a little tiny infant is you need to be barefoot as much as you can. And this might surprise some people. Why is this piece of advice in there? I think for the health of your body, for the rest of your life, for your joint health, for your spine, your back health, everything, barefoot as much as you can all the time. Start when you're kids. I see with infants now, and toddlers, people use these, I can't remember what their shoes are called. They're shoes that help kids stand up and walk better. They're a fucking terrible idea. Like, when you're developing your body's proprioception and balance and movement, let your body develop these things. Don't use crutches, right? Don't use crutches. You got to be barefoot as much as possible. If you're training, you got to be barefoot. If you can't be barefoot, you've got to use the minimalist shoes. You just have to. Now, like I said, with all this stuff, you might not be able to do it all the time, but most of the time, it is that important to let our body work the way it's supposed to do. Remember, these are things that I need you to do for the rest of your life. They might not make a difference tomorrow. They're going to make a difference in 20 years. This part's gonna hurt some people with a little bit. Are socks okay? That's actually a good question. If you're cold, wear socks, but there is research that even putting socks onto your bare feet does negatively impact your proprioception. Not a ton, a huge part, but yeah, even socks can decrease it. Now, we're not going to get into to grounding and earthing, because that shit's fucking weird, right? But your foot needs to touch. It needs to touch the ground, the surfaces. This part has to go with barefoot, and this is mostly directed towards the women out there, but maybe some men too. I don't know. Heels, elevated heels on your body. Minimize how much you wear them. It is not appreciated in our culture how much damage heels do to your body. They are literally as bad for you as the ancient Chinese techniques of foot binding that actually change the shape of the foot. Because when you look at X-ray images of people's feet who wear a lot of heels, it changes the shape and will destroy your feet. I'm not trying to make a comment on your appearance or your lifestyle or anything like that, or your wants, your desires, anything. I'm just trying to say, if you wear heels a lot, it will destroy your feet and your ankles and your hips and be hard on your knees and your back. It's a terrible thing to do to us. So, if you love them and they just make you feel good, awesome. Wear them out with friends here and there. But on a day-to-day regular basis, you've got to get rid of heels. Your foot needs to be flat, and preferably you need to wear footwear that lets your feet splay out, right? If you're listening to the podcast, you can't see, but the video, live stream, you get demos, right? Your foot has to splay out and contract. That's how your foot works. The same comes with orthotics and supportive shoes. These things aren't actually good for us. They're used as a crutch now to fix problems without doing the work to fix the problems. It's a band-aid solution. And you know what? Sometimes band-aids are really important, right? You need to stop blood flow, right? You don't want to die from a wound, right? So sometimes band-aids can be important, but they can't be what you rely on forever. So, is there a time when a brace or orthotic might be good to get rid of an acute injury or issue? Sure, but we're talking about your life. You can't rely on these things. You have to train the muscles. That's barefoot. That's the first piece. I feel really calm and mellow. I tried something new today. So you guys that watch all my stuff or listen to my stuff when I do my Odyssey update, that's not until next week. We're not doing one today. But I meditated this morning before I did this. Yeah, I feel really mellow. Maybe we'll get riled up. I don't know though, because I just want this to be good information. All right? So that's barefoot. Number 2, let's talk about the exercises you have to do for the rest of your life in order to be healthy. This list is not the only things you should do, right? As in, don't do anything else. These are just, if you include these things into your life, I promise, if you only do these things, you'll be fit and healthy for your whole life. Even if you do other exercise, and I'm talking a lot here to runners and cyclists, and other people who only do one thing, this is important, right? People call me the anti-running guy. I'm not. You got to train for it. So if you do things like run, cycle, row, where it's repetitive, over and over motions, add these things in too, right? So these are the things we have to do. Number 1, Turkish get-ups. If you don't know what Turkish get up is, I put out a lot of videos on it. Look it up. You can use a kettlebell, a shoe, a rock. I don't care. You're going to do Turkish get-ups every day for the rest of your life. On the Odyssey and with my warrior group right now, we're doing a challenge where we do Turkish get-ups daily and they escalate. So I think by the end of the year, we're going to do 4,800 Turkish get-ups. And then after that, what are we going to do? I'm going to do Turkish get-ups every day for the rest of my life. Maybe only 4 or 5 aside, but that's going to be in my plan for the rest of my life. There's so many like old expressions like our grandparents used, culturally known, and they're there for a reason. Move it or lose it is one of them. Turkish get-ups, move it or lose it. Every day, get up and down off the ground, move your joints through full ranges of motion, or lose the ability to do that. Turkish get-ups, you're going to do every day for the rest of your life. Push-ups, you're going to do some of those every day for the rest of your life. They're easy to do, like to fit in, like you don't need equipment. They work your core, they work your coordination, they work your upper body strength, they work reciprocal strength. They're just really good, and you can make 800 bajillion different ways of doing push-ups. Put your feet up, do them on one leg, do one arm, one leg. Like there's just a bajillion. So you're going to work on that. You're going to add push-ups in every day, and you don't have to do 5 million of them. So also on this warrior challenge I'm talking about, we have to do push-ups every day, and they're going to escalate till by the end of the year we've done 42 or 4,300 push-ups, and it was like 24 a day by the end of the year, every day. Even if you're sick, you got to do it. You got to get through it. Then afterwards, I'm going to do Turkish get-ups every day, and I might just do 10 push-ups every day. Move it or lose it. Keep them going. That's 2. Third thing, hacky sack. I know, this seems crazy. And you're like, but why hacky sack? Hacky sack will work your cardio. You have to squat down and lunge down 800 bajillion times because you drop the fucking little thing so many times. It's coordination, it's proprioception. It actually can become kind of fun. There's so much different movement. There's quickness, there's agility. It literally has everything. And it's not like a new thing. If you go back through the anthropological record, we were watching an episode of Friends, so Cassie, one of my physios that works with us, my wife and I on Easter, we watch Friends together on holidays and have Easter meals. And we were watching an episode of Friends. If anyone's too young to know what Friends is, there's nothing I can do for you. And there's if you guys know the character Ross, he always says, anthropologically speaking, and then everyone pretends to fall asleep. I'm like, oh man, do I do this to people too? Do I do this to people too? I might. But anthropologically speaking, if you go back through history, we've always played games with throwing things, hitting balls, balancing stuff, right? So hacky sack for me is like a modern creation of ancient movement, right? Humans have always created games because games are how we test ourselves, test our strength, essentially have combat, fight with each other without actually hurting and killing each other. This is real shit. I'm not making this up, right? It's a test of prowess and a million other things. So hacky sack is just a modern iteration of things humans have always done, and they do develop and like look at kids. Kids are always making up and playing games that often involve a lot of cool movement shit, right? So this is just an easy way to do it. So you get a hacky sack. Yeah, exactly, Melissa. Hacky sack's also fun. It's cheap. Anyone can do it. You can play it anywhere, right? Like $5 Canadian. I don't know anywhere else where you're listening to this. They're not expensive. You can fuck. Here you go. Build your own. How cool would that be, right? You're gonna add hacky sack into your life, right? 5 minutes a day. Done. That's 3 things. There's 2 more things. The next one, rolling. You're gonna add rolling into your life. And I mean like somersaults, laying on your side, rolling over, rolling back the other way, not rolling on a foam roller, right? Because do it, fine, but you don't need to do that stuff. You just need to be moving through space. You have to have a lot of spatial work to keep your vestibular system training, which keeps your balance up. I had this conversation with one of the guys that works for me yesterday. During his kinesiology degree, they would be working doing placements, training elderly people. And he's like, the stuff we used to do, is the stuff I tell him not to do, right? Where you want to fix someone's balance, so people have them stand on one leg and just try to stand there and hold it. It's not going to make your balance better. It's not. You need to train your vestibular system. To train your vestibular system, which we've talked about on this podcast before, you need to get that gyroscope in your head working and moving through space. You need to roll over. Again, this is easy. You can do it anywhere. Just roll over, roll back. Ideally, you do some somersaults and then some somersaults back. Ideally, you would then work that into some basic like headstands and handstands and be able to be comfortable in those positions. Move it or lose it, right? Move it or lose it. So if you can keep doing these things, right? Because there was a video that went super viral a little while ago. It was like an 85 or 86-year-old woman doing fucking gymnastics, like on the parallel bars and like doing cool shit. And I was like, oh, that's so impressive. And then everyone goes back to eating their shit and not doing any exercise. Well, do you know why she can still do that in her 80s? Because she never stopped doing it from when she did it when she was a kid. So if you stop doing these things, you lose the ability to do them. So there's 4 things. Turkish get-ups, push-ups, hacky sack, and some rolling. The last thing on here, from the fitness side, don't worry. I thought this was going to be a shorter podcast, but the way this is going, it's going to be a long one too. The last one on here, jump rope. So, again, cheap, you can do it anywhere. Jump rope, I think, is a tremendously undervalued exercise. Note, it's not called skipping, it's called jump rope. Again, you can go back through the anthropological record and see kind of examples of activities looking like jump rope. It's great coordination, it can be unbelievable cardio, great balance work, tons of different options, things you can do with it, jump rope. So in 10 minutes, you could easily do some Turkish get-ups, some push-ups, play a little bit of hacky sack, roll on some somersault, and finish up with a little jump rope. This is literally the workout that I do almost every day. I've just realized that as I'm saying this. It's what I did the day before yesterday. That's in 10 minutes you can do all that stuff. If you do those 5 things 10 minutes a day for the rest of your life, we're going to be talking in 50 years. Maybe I'll be on episode like 5,000 of my podcast by then. We're going to be talking, and you're still going to be able to do all of those things. And that's fucking awesome. So there we go. Barefoot's number 1. Those are your 5 exercises that you're going to do. What else do you have to do? Coach Taylor's top advice for a healthy life. The next one, food. Eat real food. Don't go on a diet. Don't do any of this other crazy shit that people do. Don't go do the carnivore diet. Don't become keto. Don't be paleo or all of this shit. You don't need it. You don't need to think about it. Michael Pollan makes this really amazing point. When did our food become so difficult and complicated? It doesn't need to be. It's so simple. Eat real food, right? I love the expression "eat what your grandparents eat," like how your grandparents ate, right? Just and maybe do a little learning. But go back 70 years, 80 years, 100 years. Eat real food, right? Sorry, I'd have to add another note to this. I totally just realized I forgot a major thing. What? Eat real food. No processed foods. Right? No processed foods. Don't, if you guys saw a meme I posted the other day, it was really funny. It's in the grocery store. If there's a health food section in the grocery store, what's the rest of the store filled with? I thought that was hilarious. The health food section in the grocery stores is just as shitty as the rest of it. It just brought up an interesting way to look at things, right? But if it's in a package, if the food if you didn't ferment it, it's not fermented, and it lasts longer than like 3-4 days sitting on the counter, don't eat that shit. Food's not supposed to do that, except like honey. Guys, there's always an exception. Okay, we're talking some general rules here. This one's gonna hurt, but it's just everything I'm talking about has tons of research, tons of knowledge, tons of information behind it, right? Get rid of alcohol and drugs. I didn't say never have these things, but I hate this health advice of moderate drinking is good for us. And then moderate drinking is considered 2 drinks a day for men and a drink a day for women. That's fucking crazy. That's not moderate drinking. That's a lot of drinking, right? Alcohol is a poison. Alcohol kills you. Alcohol destroys your body. Plain and simple. There's no benefit to these types of things. Your grandparents ate Danishes canned soup and casseroles. You might have to go to your great grandparents' time then. But even Danishes 50, 60, 70 years ago, I bet you were fresher with more real ingredients in them. Alcohol will kill you. Alcohol will fuck you up. Most drugs will kill you and fuck you up. Indulge in them sometimes if you love them, but as challenging as this might be, and as much as it might be in your psyche and built into you, because I'm not going to get into it. My real passion is sociology, and people don't understand that the entire social cultural system that we live in is designed to make us consume and live this life of luxury. You can't watch a TV show or a movie or anything and not watch people constantly drinking alcohol, eating crappy food, not exercising, going on vacation. Like this, you just can't do it. It's crazy. You got to get rid of alcohol as much as possible. I know, you'll find an example of someone somewhere who's 90 that's had a drink a day for their entire fucking life. Cool. There's exceptions to every rule. You don't have to do any of this advice. Just telling you the best shit to get you there. Food, right? So no alcohol. Grow your own food. Everybody should grow at least some of their own food all the time. Look, I posted this the other day too. Fucking dandelions. Dandelions are like a nutritional powerhouse food. You can eat the whole goddamn thing. The little flower head, the leaves, the stem, the roots, all of it. Very nutritious. If you can't grow a dandelion, like, you really have some fucking shit you gotta work out. Because most of us spend our fucking summer trying to get rid of dandelions. Now you can get rid of them by harvesting them to eat them. You've got to grow some of your own food. That's a simple one, right? Grow some herbs. Get a little indoor herb garden. Like, in a window, it's not hard, right? Get in the habit of it. When we talk about microbiome stuff, touching dirt and touching plants and having plants in our houses filtering the air, these things are part of making our bodies healthier. So just growing some of your own food has so much to it. Prepare your own food. That's the next one. Prepare your own food. Anything that you buy, you can make. Cookies, pastries, danishes, you don't have to buy them, you can make them, right? I'll let you eat anything you want if you make it. Unless you're a really skilled baker, then you can probably pump out more shitty food than you should probably be eating, right? But you prepare your own food. Cut your own vegetables. Cut your own vegetables that you grew, even better, right? Like, cook your own fucking food. You'll be healthier just by doing that. Just by doing that. And cooking your own food doesn't mean buying it in a box and heating it up in the fucking oven. Prepare all your own food from scratch. Obviously, you might not have the time in your life to do this every day, but if you rarely do it, what if you just did it 3 times a week? That should probably a significant increase before. Little bits, little bits, little bits, little bits. Next one, fermented foods every day. You gotta eat a fermented food every single day. The drinks are okay, kombucha, water kefir, all of that, but vegetables, sauerkraut, kimchi, there is a bajillion fermented foods. No, wine and beer don't count. Vinegar doesn't count. Soy sauce doesn't count. Those things are already fermented. They don't have bacteria in them. Got to eat fermented foods every day. 2 more things on the food. And the next one, it's controversial, and I'm sorry, but it's just, I know I'm not supposed to say sorry, but I am saying it. This hurts a lot of people's feelings, but it's just when you go through all the evidence, all the research studies, all the anthropology, everything, this is just true. Your food should be mostly plants. Mostly plants. Nuts, seeds, vegetables, like plant oils, like olive oil. You should be mostly plants. I'm not saying don't eat meat or meat's not good for you. I believe that humans should eat meat and it's good for us. But you should be mostly eating plants. 80% of your diet at least should be plant-based. That's it. I'm not going to get into the microbiome and all that shit right now, but you got to eat mostly plants. And then lastly, when it comes to the food thing, make friends with your local producers. Go to markets, right? It doesn't have to be all the time. You can get farm food delivered to you. And I get it. I live in Canada, guys. Fucking January and February, we don't get fresh vegetables. I mean, aquaponics and indoor hydroponics are changing this a little bit, but in our climate, you can't. So I'm okay with some frozen food and obviously fermented foods and when importing some foods, right? But as much as you can, support your local economy, not just to support the local economy, but to support your body and your health, right? Go to a farmer's market once a month and just buy some stuff from them, right? And it might be cost more. It doesn't. Actually, the vegetables I buy from my local farmers and they buy from my local farmers is not more expensive than what I buy in the store. It's healthier, it's better for you, it supports your economy. It's just better. It's just better. So as much as you can, try to get local stuff. Not everything. I buy some lamb from these amazing farmers in New Zealand. Some beef from the east coast of our country is unbelievable, ethically raised, beautiful stuff, right? But do more of buying stuff from people. All right, that's it. So look, we got barefoot. We got your 5 exercises. I just told you everything you need to know what types of foods you need to eat, right? There you go. What's next on the list of things you have to do for a healthy life? Fasting. I'm not going to go deep into it. I've made many posts. I wrote a fucking gigantic article about fasting, and I've talked about it here a lot. You have to have fasting periods in your life. Period. Rest of your life. Done. Jen, fermented foods from a store. I think that there's a lot of really awesome local small companies making fermented foods. So fermented foods can be a little different, but remember, as soon as something becomes super massive produced, there's no way that it doesn't become more processed. So there's a company in a little town near us, you'll know because you're from the area. Oh God, now I can't remember the name of the town. It's half an hour from here, near Napanee, but they Pyramid Foods. They're small, they serve a few communities, and they make fermented stuff. You can buy that from them. I do drink some GTS kombucha, which is a huge, massive brand. I don't think it's as good as your own stuff, right? So fasting, make sure you have fasting in your life. Read my article on it if you want more. I got to get through this stuff because the next section is more important than all of this stuff that I'm talking about, right? So top advice for life, barefoot, 5 exercises, eat real food, add fasting. Next, meditate. Every day, 5 minutes of meditation, period. Believe me or not, do it, learn how to do it. It's a skill. Do it for the rest of your life. Very important. Next thing after that, cold exposure. I fully believe that you need to have some discomfort in your life. You need to have a little bit of physical pain in your life. Your body has to adapt and get over that. Cold exposure is the easiest way. Look up Wim Hof's cold shower challenge. Hit that up. Do that. If you're going to have a 5-minute shower, 1 minute of it, cold water. Yeah, it's going to suck. It's going to be uncomfortable. That's the whole point. It actually will make your body work better. Right? I got 3 more things on here. So that's barefoot, 5 exercises, food, fasting, meditate, cold training. Next one, journal. Journal every day or every other day. It doesn't have to be crazy. With apps today, it's so fucking easy. You can write one word. What's today? Wednesday, April 24th. Good. You get crazy. You can get crazy and do 2 words. Wednesday, April 24th. Good day. Maybe even crazier, 3 words. Good day today. Bad day today. My dog died. Horrible day. Tried new food. It was awesome. Little things. Every day or 2, just add something about your day. Start to journal. Get in the process. There is tons of data on how powerful this is for making your life better. 2 more things. Always be learning a new skill and reading regularly. Always be learning a new skill and reading regularly. Last thing. Just an overall thing. This is what you've got to do for a healthy, long-term, perfect life. Move every day. Eat real food. I might write this down, put it on a fucking t-shirt. Move every day. Eat real food. That is all Coach Taylor's advice for a healthy life. Delivered in 40 minutes that was supposed to be 10 minutes. But that's it. Take all of that and you'll have as long a healthy life as is possible for you to do. And with that, we're going to wrap that section up and move on to the next. Alright, that got live stream YouTube. That's 40 minutes. This is going to be actually a longer podcast than I anticipated. But now we're going to get on to the real stuff. That's very, very important. Thank you, Julie. It'll be on there more. So now, if you can, this part. Oh man, that'd be awesome. You message me later, Melissa, and I'll give you my Addy, because it might be changing. And also, can you write me back what I said? I've already forgotten how you do this type of thing. Alright guys, let's get on to the next section. If you guys are watching live, I may or may not respond to questions during this section. I probably would, but this is all up here. Alright, my podcasting friends. This is something that I said, I put it in my Insta story, that it's really important and it's going to actually make you think, and this is important. Nothing else will work in your life if you don't do this. You have to take care of you. You have to take care of you first. You have to take care of you before you take care of everyone else. Here's a really good example that someone said to me one time. I saw somewhere one time. When you're on an airplane, the first thing they tell you to do in event of emergency is put on your oxygen mask first, then put on the oxygen mask of the people next to you. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of anyone else around you. And I've already said in this podcast today, we pay a lot of lip service to Robin Sharma and Tony Robbins and all this self-help shit, but we don't actually do it. This is just, if you do not take care of yourself first and foremost, you will not be effective at taking care of your family, your kids, your friends, anything else around you. You have to take care of yourself first, right? And to do that, we have to make sure that we like our life. And I think that people do this the wrong way. We focus on the wrong things, right? And that's what I want to talk about right now. How to and what to plan for your life, right? Because no one does this, right? You think you do, but you don't. We get so caught. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a very interesting thing you see a lot of business conferences, motivationals. It's a 4-quadrant system of the things in our life. We have urgent, important, urgent, unimportant, not urgent, important, not urgent, unimportant, right? So you have all these different categories. And what most people do in their life is spend all their time in the urgent, unimportant, right? The little notification goes in your phone, boom, got to answer that. Email comes in, boom, got to answer that, right? These things are rarely important, but they're urgent. You have urgent, important. Oh, friend is having a heart attack, get them to hospital. Urgent, important. Take care of that shit always first, right? But the urgent, unimportant is where we get so fucking stuck. What we need to get into is the important, not urgent. Right? Important things that don't feel urgent. I don't know, like your health, like your fitness, little things like that, right? Those are the things that we have to take care of. So we have to set goals. And this is where everybody really fucking sucks. And it's not your fault, I get it. It's the stuff that we're told, it's the stuff that we see on the internet. And I don't want to trash on the internet. Like everyone's like, oh, Instagram, it's a fake. You guys can write this shit down, right? Everyone goes on and on about Instagram, like, oh, it's a fake life, it's not reality, blah, blah, blah. Oh, right, because 15 years ago when you were watching TV, that was real life, right? Guys, all the fucking media, for eternity of media, is not real life, right? Instagram might throw it in your face now, but before it was just TV shows, right? And movies. Like you watch movies, you think that's real life? It's no different. It's just a different medium of the same bullshit that's sent to us. I just thought about that. That's actually really important to think about. So what is goals? We got to have goal setting, right? And we mess this all up, right? And life changes, life ebbs, it flows. And the goals are going to change too. I don't want you to get so fixated on a goal that you... I've got a lot of people in my life that I talk to about this that will listen to this podcast. If you have a plan and a goal and then it changes, it's okay. Revamp where you're going. That's okay, right? So what are the goals that people set that I think are crazy, right? There's two. There's like two things that people are always goal setting for. Retirement and vacation, right? It's always one of those two things, right? I'm not happy, life sucks, but I'm going on vacation in a couple months, and then your whole life becomes planning for that vacation, right? How many people are you see and talk to every day that are like, I can see it on their bodies, like they're just broken down, they look tired, they're not happy, but there's only 10 more years till I retire. Did you hear what you just said? Only 10 more years? Fuck, man. Like, don't... That's crazy, right? I always hear people saying things, one day, when I get there. And we plan for these huge things, and that's what we always think. But none of that might ever happen. People die. People get fired, jobs are lost, industries end, unexpected pregnancies happen, accidents happen, limbs get lost, shit happens in life. If you're always planning for then, that may never happen, right? It doesn't mean you shouldn't plan these big things, right? Life's never going to be easy. There's not going to be a period in your life where you're like, oh man, that last few months was just super easy and everything came out awesome. And if that does happen to you, super awesome. Congratulations, that's wicked. But there's always going to be something, right? Life's not free of obstacles. So what makes us able to live a healthy life and be happy in our life is how we handle the obstacles that come at us, not how well we become at avoiding obstacles, because they are always going to come. All you can do is control how you respond to, act, and then be around those obstacles. That's it. So it's how we handle the everyday that will actually make your life what it's going to be. Right? So the big goals are okay, but I want you to think about this. Think about the next 20 years. Say every year you take 3 weeks of vacation, right? Or you get 3 weeks of vacation, whatever. Maybe it's a little more, maybe it's a little less, but you're always planning on those vacation days. In the next 20 years, you have 1,040 weeks available to you. 1,040 weeks. If you get 3 weeks of vacation a year, that's 60 weeks of vacation, 980 weeks of life. With me? Right? That means out of all the days for the next 20 years, 420 of those days are going to be on vacation. Right? 6,860 days, 6,860 days are going to be your everyday. 5% of your life will be those vacation goals. 95% of your life will be your everyday. What thing do you think is going to have the biggest impact on your life? Just think about those numbers. Plan for the big things. That's okay. But that's not the majority of your life. That's not where we're really going. It's not what we do every single day, right? And we don't think about it. Now you're going to say, well, Coach Taylor, every day can't be amazing and awesome. I know. I just told you that. I just told you there's going to be obstacles, right? But what if we tried to make just half of our days for the next 20 years really awesome? That would be 3,430 days of good days over the next 20 years versus the only 420 days of vacation that you're going to have. If only half of your days are better days, that's still 3,430 days versus your 420 days of vacation. And then you've got to think about this. And I see this all the time. all the time. If you hate most of your life and your days, right? Even when you have those vacation days, are they really going to be awesome? Are you going to love them? Because I see people have bad mindsets all the time. People retire and have no skills or interests, and they don't know what to do with themselves, right? Because they haven't taken care of it. They're not healthy because they didn't fucking do any exercise or eat well for the last 20 years, right? Or they're eating shitty and not taking care of themselves all the time. And when they go on vacation, they can't do anything anywhere. They're sick. People go away on vacation, they get sick the whole time, right? You have to constantly be stoking the fire inside of your life, or the flame will go out, right? So, why am I talking about this? What does all of this actually mean? And this is why, when I said in my Insta story the other day, have a pen and paper, because you need to do a little bit of planning. Because when people do planning for their life, they plan the big things. They plan out what they want their dream vacation. I've traveled to Africa 3 times now. Love it there. And people are like, oh, that's a dream. That's a dream of mine. I would love to go there one day. Dream one day. There's no actionable plan there. And it's cool. You got to have that stuff. Right? But that's not the majority of your life. It's not your day-to-day. So what we need to do right now, and what's more important than planning those things, is plan what a good day would look like for you. Not a vacation or anything like that. What would a good day look like for you? Right? And work can be involved in that. We have to earn a living, and we're talking about these bulk of days. Obviously, you're going to have to work either for someone or for yourself, or do something. You have to, in our culture, earn money in order to make a living. But this is what nobody thinks about. What would you like your every day to look like? We're so fixated on these distant goals or these small periods of our life that of themselves will already be magical and wonderful, right? Like we talk about this with parents and kids all the time. You don't need to try to make their life magical with Pinterest parties and costume. Their lives are magical already. Just growing up and being a kid, it's awesome. Your vacations will be magical. They're vacations. They're a nice break from life, right? What's a good day look like for you? What types of things do you like to do? Do you like to have meals, cooked meals? Do you like coffee breaks? Do you like exercise? Do you like naps? Do you like watching movies? Do you like reading books? Do you like hanging out with your friends? What's your ideal day? I did this many years ago. We've actually designed and worked our business around this. Every single day, my wife and I take our dogs out to the lake and to a park. And we've done this now 7 years, 8 years, pretty much between 12:30, 1 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. That's what we do. We've hired staff over the years to cover those times. I will literally close the business between 1 and 3 before I will give up those times, because that is an important part of my life every single day. We do that every single day. Because for me, I look at what can my day be like to be good, right? I do work still and all sorts of other things. I'm sitting here doing a podcast for you right now talking about these things. I still work, but that's one thing that's very important to my life. I've developed a passion for cooking. So at least 4 nights a week, I spend a lot of time cooking and preparing meals, and I'm learning about it. Every morning that I don't go to the studio, I read first. Right? So when I look at what my ideal day is, and let's use a work day for example, I fucking love Fridays. I also love Mondays. It's not just because the day is Friday, it's because of the schedule I have on Friday. I go into our business for 6 a.m., I train and coach people till about noon, 1 o'clock, then I take the dogs out, then I have my violin lesson, and that's the day my wife and I normally do takeout from a local restaurant, and then we watch a show that we like. And that's Fridays. I love that day, right? It's like an ideal day for me. So what I try to do is every day incorporate some of those things into the day. So when you look at, is it meals, is it coffee breaks, is it exercise, is it naps, is it movies, reading, whatever it is, can you incorporate one of those things into your day every day? right? Because you're not going to be able to have the perfect day all the time. I get that. There's going to be up days, down days. You're going to fight with people. Shit's going to happen that you got to deal with. That important urgent's going to happen. But if every day you can just add one of those things that you really like, over time, that will become a habit. And over time, you'll be able to add more of those things. So if you can focus your whole life on trying to make your everyday a little bit better, over time, someone just coming from Northern Ireland, finally someone that's not summer warm and tropical is commenting. Thank you. Over time, adding these little things into your day all the time will make your days better. And when you can make those 6,860 days all a little bit better over the next 20 years of your life, you're going to have a happier, better life. Right? Because, like I talk about with everything all the time, it's the little things that you do all the time that make your life better forever. You have to stop living your life for what might happen tomorrow. You have to stop crying about what happened in the past. All you can think about is what is today going to be like. All right, stop the podcast. Now it's just you live streamers left, and YouTube if you watch it on there. That was it. That was episode 50, Coach Taylor Radio. I liked it. I had fun with that one. Yeah, it's about health and fitness, right? Because our health is just as much up here as it is anywhere else. So I hope people got some good insight out of that, and it gets people thinking. I'll have it posted up online on the podcast shortly, and then eventually on YouTube if you want to watch it on there. But yeah, I hope that was good. If you got questions or things lead into that, regular podcast will be back next week on Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have a super fantastic rest of your day. Do one thing, just one thing today that you actually really enjoy and means a lot to you. That's done. Posted. YouTube, we're out.